Hi Stampers, this is Kim with Great Inspirations. Thank you for joining me today for a Stamp Happy Holidays video. And I don't know about you, but where I am at today, it is so dreary outside. It's just really miserable. And I'm very thankful to be able to spend a little time in my craft room and focus on cheerier things than the weather. So I thought we would take a look at this layout. It's a very simple layout. It's quick to put together, and it might be just exactly what you need if you still need a few more Christmas cards or if you have yet to begin your Christmas cards for this year. Now, I like this layout because I can show off lots of my pattern papers and I can use up a lot of scraps. And really the only thing you need once you get your pattern papers on there is a greeting. However, you could die cut some images and put on there maybe a Christmas tree or a snowman. And as a matter of fact, when we put one of the cards together, we're going to put some snowmen on that card along with the greeting. So let's take a little look. This one says sending Christmas wishes. As you can see, I have basically 3 rectangles of pattern papers. They're all different, but these did come from the same paper pack, so they do coordinate, but you do not have to use papers from the same paper pack. Just find the ones that you like, that you feel coordinate best. And that's what I did here. These two are from the exact same paper pack. However, I couldn't find a third pattern that I really liked with these 2 designs. So I went to another paper pack and found this, and I really liked it alongside these 2 designs. And then here's one, and this is the same thing. These 2 are from the same paper pack. This one is from a different paper pack. I just needed something that was similar, but just a little different to kind of just set it off and make the card a little more interesting. These are from the same paper pack. As a matter of fact, this is the reverse of this pattern. We just have a little greeting in the top corner there. And this is a pack of paper that I really like. It's all in reds and grays. And it just reminds me of a retro Christmas like in the 50s and 60s. So I had my little retro die cut there and I used it for the greeting. Put on a few rhinestones and we're good to go. So I thought we would walk through making this card together. And just for your information, and I'm sure you've already figured this out, all these cards are identical, the layout. But there's nothing that says you can't make it a landscape card. There's nothing that says you can't flip it. So this is along the bottom. There's nothing that says you can't make it like this. Of course, these are upside down, but with the longer paper to the right and these 2 pieces to the left, and with the longer one on top of the shorter one. You can arrange them however you like and what works best for the paper that you have. You might have some scrap paper that the direction, it's just not this way. It needs to go the opposite direction. Use it, just change the orientation. The measurements will still be the same. You just need to change the way you put them on to the card base. So let's put these aside. And we'll look at this real quickly. I know that's black, that'd be black on black. This is basically the layout. We need a piece that is 1.5 inches wide by 5.25 inches long, and one that's 2.5 inches wide by 1 3/4, another that's 2.25 by 3.25. Of course, if you turn it this way, it's going to be, this would be the length instead of the width, and this would be the width instead of the length, but I know you all know that. This little diagram here will be on my corresponding blog post. And the link to that blog post will be found in the description of this video. So these are the measurements that you will need for this layout. Now let's bring out a few supplies. This first one we're going to do, like I said, you have the option of putting on some images. So I made these little snowmen, and we will add those to our card when we get it together. I have a greeting, and I have our 3 rectangles. The one that's 1.5 by 5 1/8, and both of these are 2 1/4, and this one is by 1 3/4, and this one is by 3 1/4 inches. We have an inside panel that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I've stamped a greeting on it. And let's go ahead and put that inside our card base, and this is just a regular A2 card base, 8.5 by 5 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Put some adhesive on the back of this. Line it up in here. And there we go. Now we're ready. I'm going to use my bone folder one more time to try to keep this a little flatter. For this one, instead of putting my long strip to the left, I'm going to put it to the right. But because of the way my eyes work, I'm going to flip it upside down so I can line it up to the left to get a nice border. Now on this, the good thing about it, you do not need to put a mat under these strips. You use the card base as the mat. You can do it if you want to, but it takes more time. And we're talking about getting some cards done in a little bit of a hurry. Not really last minute cards, but we just don't have a whole lot of time because it'll soon be Christmas. I can't believe next week will be Thanksgiving. So let's just make sure our card is upside down. I'm going to do my snowman upside down. And I'm going to get a nice border, same at the top and bottom and to the side. Okay, now I'm going to put this longer strip at 2 1/4 inch wide down here, and I think that will work just fine. And there, we can use this piece to line things up now. That makes it a lot easier. So get this. There's that one. There's that one. And that's all there is to this layout. Super simple. Now we have our greeting, which we'll put here. And I have these 3 little snowmen. I have some little foam squares here that are 1 millimeter thick. I like to use those. They pop it up a little, but not so much as it gives you any trouble in the post office. I do like those because then I can use the 2 millimeter ones as well and put something else on here and have different layers of dimension. Put him here. And here's our greeting, warm wishes and snowman kisses. I put some little banners. I cut it out with a banner punch. Then I punched another one, actually 2 more, and just put it on the back, moved it out, the sides out a little bit. Let's put this right here. And I have some little blue snowflakes right here. And I'm going to put one right there. And we'll put one right down here. Make sure that's on there. And let's put one over here. And there's our card. Quick and easy. Came together really quickly. And this time of year, if I have to make cards or tags or gift card holders, I use a lot of snowmen because they don't require a lot of coloring. And other things I use are like snowflakes that I can punch out or die cut out. And I just would go over them with like a glitter pen or something like that, or punch them out of glitter paper. I also use polar bears because they're mostly white. You can add a little very light blue, like aqua shading to them, or maybe a very light gray. You can add little pink to their noses and cheeks. And the same with penguins, because usually if you stamp them, you stamp the black, then there's the white. You might need to do a little coloring with a gold or a yellow for their beak and their feet maybe, but there's not a lot of coloring involved. So when you're trying to get your cards done in a short amount of time, especially at Christmas time, those are the kinds of images I look for to use for cards. And that's just me. That's something that I found helps me when I'm really in a hurry at this time of year and need cards that are fit for the season. So here is our snowman card. And now we are going to turn our layout this way. And I have this card. Has a greeting, and we have our 3 pieces and our card base, which again it is 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. I've already put a greeting inside. It just says Merry Christmas. And now we are going to put the front of the card together. And again, I will be turning this like this. Whatever it takes to help you get your pieces on the best way possible. So we start with this. We just want to make sure any patterns that are directional were cut in the proper direction. Now we have this one. There we go. Actually, I can turn it like this. Get it lined up. And then we have our last one, which needs to go this way, and I think I will turn this way, just to make sure I get it going in the right direction. I'm not sure you can see, but there are little trees on here. They need to be standing upright. So I'll just line this up. And there's our card. And now we have our greeting, and I've already put some embellishments on it. Just peel the back off of these foam squares. And add this to our card. And there we go. It's just that easy. Now, when I have card layouts, I usually make myself something like this. And I use it so when I want to change the orientation, it helps me to have a visual. Okay, I need anything that's going up and down, it needs to go up this way. So I need to cut it 3 1/4 wide and 2 1/4 tall. That's how I use these. I don't just use them to remember a layout. I use them to help me with directional papers, and also to help me, yes, I can turn this way, I can turn it this way, I could turn it this way, I could swap these, I could swap these. That's what I use these for. So I would encourage you, if you like, to make these. And I just use scraps. This piece of black cardstock is one that I'd cut something wrong. So I had a 1/4 piece of cardstock that I could use, and that's what I use this for. Sometimes I just use printer paper and old scraps of designer paper. So there we go. Let's look at all these cards. This little quick and easy card design could help you if you're kind of starting to get to worrying about those Christmas cards and getting them done. This is something, I think it looks nice, it's interesting, it uses up your pattern papers, and it just, you know, it doesn't look like you were in a rush. It looks like, oh, look at these beautiful cards that she made for me or he made for me. It's just easy, but it doesn't look that easy. Well, I thank you for joining me today, and as I said, all of the measurements, my diagram, pictures of these cards, supply list, where I get things, all that kind of thing, will be on my corresponding blog post, and the link to that blog post is in the description of this video. Until next time, stamp happy.